What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hardwood Convos podcast here on the 515 Podcast Network. I'm Brock Bierman alongside just Hunter Rose today. We're going to talk a little bit NBA hoops. Probably going to be a shorter episode, not too much really to hit on. If anything, we're probably going to be talking a little more about like the performances of future NBA stars potentially and their performances in the NCAA Tournament, as we are recording just before tip-off of the first Sweet 16 game of the Sweet 16 Elite Eight weekend. Hunter, how are we feeling? You're over in Nebraska territory, so
man,
I can't imagine the vibes in that state right now, going from 0 wins ever in program. Well, I guess depending on which Nebraska person you're talking to, they might be like disappointed because it's Creighton not in the Sweet 16, or I don't know. How are the vibes over there as the Huskers are getting ready to tip off later? Actually, tonight, before this recording, will be out on the Hawks and the Huskers playing in the Sweet 16.
Man, go Big Red. Go Big Red first off. Hopefully Freddie.
Go Big Fred.
Amen. Hopefully Freddie finishes off those frauds over in Iowa City. But yeah, man, it's been vibes are high. It's funny because, obviously not a big surprise that most Nebraska fans are not exactly the biggest basketball fans. No, I mean, obviously, yeah, I know, right? Obviously, they had Kisei a couple of years ago, and everybody was hype on him at least. But yeah, it's kind of a toss up when I talk to somebody and they're like, everyone's cheering for Nebraska. There's no doubt about that. Everybody will be watching Nebraska. However, half of them will be like, yeah, I kind of just started watching like halfway through the season this year, and then doesn't know really anything that's going on. So whenever I share them from Iowa, I have to immediately follow it up with, well, like, don't jump me. I cheer for the good team. I used to hate you guys. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of you guys, but we haven't played each other in like a decade now. All right. Everything's okay.
Be like, you're fine in basketball, but
yeah, football.
We don't have to talk about football.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because then they find out that I went to Northern Iowa, and then they start making fun of me because we played them and got blown out. Obviously, this was no shocker to anybody, but it happened. But anyway, yeah, no, overall doing well. We also baseball started today. The Miz setting a Brewers franchise record, most strikeouts in opening day. So that was fun to watch. Obviously throttled the White Sox, and then Joey Wiemer hit a home run. Former Brewer hit a home run on the Cubs. So that was really fun too.
Okay, you're gonna have to fill me in on who the Miz is.
The Miz, Jacob Mizorowski.
Okay.
Yeah, his name's the Miz. Don't worry.
I'm not big into baseball. I mean, like, I'll watch the playoffs, and honestly, I just post Dodger stuff just because I know it makes people so mad. See, exactly. I just had to say it.
I'm shocked. I will say I'm shocked I didn't get a text from Chase today about happy opening day with just some diabolical Dodgers picture.
I got a text from him 2 days ago about are you ready for the two-time defending
$1.3 quadrillion later? Yeah, you can go win your title again. All right, pay to win Clash of Clans league over here.
Golly. I asked him when the championship parade is scheduled for already. And
that's funny.
But yeah, I mean, baseball's already here. By the way, why was there only one game on opening night, and why was it the Yankees and the Giants?
Because everybody's obviously a Yankees fan, man. Obviously.
Or a Giants fan.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, what if we just pick one team from each coast and just call it good? Like, everybody would definitely want to watch that.
Everybody would watch.
I think more people would watch, like, the Pirates versus the Dodgers if you just knowing that both teams would be playing. And I'm not even a baseball fan. I would tune in for that. I didn't understand that, especially the fact that it was only one game that night, and it was on Netflix, right? Is Netflix
that sounds right?
Baseball now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I lose track on who all is doing.
They're everywhere.
Whatever anymore. I will say though, for those that have never experienced though a Netflix sports broadcast, they might be one of, if not the best, like, especially for the fact that they aren't like necessarily a sports streaming organization by any means. But if you're looking at like the future of contracts and stuff like that for leagues, teams, whatever it may be, don't sleep on Netflix, man. They might actually give, dare I say, ESPN a run for their money in terms of like those.
Come on.
And you know what? If it means that ESPN, Fox, whatever, I think Fox does fine, and CBS, I love CBS. But if it means like they all improve their products because they don't want to lose these contracts, it just benefits everybody in the long run. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, baseball season's going on. The UFL kicks off this weekend, which, Hunter, I don't know how much you've been looking into the rules or whatever, but a 60-plus yard field goal in the UFL is 4 points.
Ooh, interesting. That's kind of wild.
Adding a little bit of an incentive to kick. And if I remember, there's another rule where, like, I think it's at a certain point in the field, you have to go for it or something like that. No matter what, you can't punt. You have to either kick or punt. I mean, kick it or go for it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to as a big St. Louis Battlehawks fan. You know,
nice.
We're definitely trying to win the championship after Anthony Beck definitely just abandoned us. I'm completely kidding. He went to a team that literally is in his hometown where he's living now. So, but in the NBA side of things, it's kind of been a little quiet, not too much chaos going on. I mean, depending on which channel or which show you're watching, I guess, to get your NBA news, there hasn't been really too much drama or anything. It doesn't seem like Shams has been that bored because there hasn't been any like, oh, Giannis is gone since we last talked. Because I think when we recorded last week, it was like, oh, I'm bored. Here's what Giannis is thinking.
Yep. Classic. Ain't nothing new.
But really the big thing that's been going on is the discussion on who's going to be eligible for this dang MVP award. Because it was announced that Cunningham's going to be out for probably until the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't even know at this point. There's some scary stuff health-wise with him. Hopefully everything
collapsed lung, like that you don't ever see that.
Great. And that's kind of an injury that's even like basketball aside, like that's just not good in general. So hopefully, you know, I know I talk down a lot on the Pistons out there. I do genuinely hope, all right, that Cade is progressing the right way. He's a fun player to watch.
You can tell that he was probably the front runner, like for sure, for the MVP this year, given who's still available or who was still eligible by the time he got hurt. Because it's since then the NBA Players Association and I think pretty much everyone now is officially like stood up against the 65 game rule, except for the commissioner. He kind of doubled down on it, I think either today or yesterday, and said that it's doing its service, basically, is what I think he said. And, you know, his still priority is preventing tanking and stuff like that. We're getting to the point where, okay, yes, Jaylen Brown is having a first team All NBA caliber season, but we're getting to the point where he might get the MVP award just off of the amount of names that have been cut off on this. And like, okay, yes, 65 games isn't asking a lot, but when you have like a season like this where injuries of your star players are just piling up like crazy and they're missing it by one, at most 5 games of the benchmark of 65, like you got to make an exception to the rule or something. Cause like I don't even know if Jaylen Brown, maybe he is someone that would take it either way, but I don't know if Jaylen Brown would want to have an MVP award that everybody's going to be like, well, did he really deserve it? Or did he get the award because everybody else didn't make the 65 game benchmark?
Yeah. I think it's weird to say like, yeah, I think it's working. Like as you are literally watching the best players in your league fall short of it. Like if you really want the MVP to go to the best player in the NBA, and all of them are hurt, you can't then go, well, I think it's working. Like, it's doing its job. Like, no, it's not. It is clearly not doing its job. And like, I think the other thing too is with the rule, I feel like at this point, voters would be able to look at how many games somebody really plays and say like, oh, like that we probably should have seen more out of them in order to vote them in, right? I think I don't think having a benchmark for it is necessarily wrong. Maybe there are some people that think it is wrong. I'd be happy to hear about that. I'd be happy to hear that side of the story. I don't think having a benchmark is wrong by any means, but especially like where it should be at and the circumstances of how it should work. Like, this season just shows like, man, like something probably has to change or at least be tweaked a little bit, you know? Like, even if it's like Brock said, whether it's like exceptions, whether it's like, oh, maybe, you know, if someone at the point, Cade Cunningham played, I think it was like 61 games or something like that this season, or 60 something. Like, he hit that at a pretty good spot of the season. Like, at that point, like if he's playing 61 out of, let's say, I don't know, like 65 games already, like within the season or something like that, should we just count that then? Like, does that work? So I just think it's weird that he's like, yeah, it's working. It's working. It's doing its job. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I feel like it's almost like, I don't want to call him tone deaf, but like, I just feel like he's not really seeing what is going on right now. Because the original idea of the rule was to prevent tanking as well as load management. Well, really the issue that we're having with all these players that would be eligible for the MVP award, they're not necessarily doing anything that would be considered load management. They literally are just not healthy to play basketball right now. And would you rather force people to play injured just so they can win a trophy? Like, a trophy that has nothing to really do with the team's success. Like, teams aren't going to want that. Teams, yes, they do care about their players getting awards, recognition, all that stuff. But I think we talked about it too. This rule, I'm surprised it hasn't been even looked at, or maybe it has and it just hasn't been seemed like a real idea. I'm waiting for the time that team holds a player out at game 64 just so they're not eligible, so they don't have to pay them that super max that would be unlocked based off of their current contract or wherever they're at in the organization. Because you know how much money you could save just by not having a player make all NBA?
It's crazy.
I don't know, man. I think we talked about it earlier. You said Jokic is still on pace to potentially.
Yeah, he cannot. I think he could only miss one game throughout the rest of the season. Which, like, it's doable, but again, like Brock has pointed out, and like we've said on this podcast before, it just takes like one freak incident, and all of a sudden it's gone. You know, one little tweaked ankle, you're toast.
Well, that's the thing, is like Cade was kind of just cruising really to an MVP award, and now, not really.
No,
I'm trying to look up here the MVP odds to just see what the current state of it is, and I'm interested to see, because I don't know if is Shea still on pace to be eligible?
I think his is probably similar, where it's only maybe one or two. Let's see how many he's played in here. Shea has played in 61 games so far, and the Thunder have played in 73 games.
Okay.
So he would need to play in. I mean, he could miss about a few of them.
Yeah, I think so. Right now, I'd probably say Shea is probably the front runner to get MVP. Wemby's right behind him. I don't know where he's at in terms of games played and everything.
Luka, he's at 58.
58.
He's be cutting it probably a little bit closer potentially.
But fortunately for him, he kind of has like a reason to fight, though, because like the Spurs have a chance to take over the Thunder right now, and the standings in the Western Conference separated by 2 games. Yeah, 2 games after the Thunder lost their first game in, I think, 12 games against the Celtics last night. So That's one thing that helps, though, is that he has that like reason to play, which I mean, not that should be the determining factor of whether he plays or not, but so he has that. Luka, I'm not sure. Do you have an update on where he's at in numbers?
He very well could. Do I think he will? Probably not. He's at 61 games right now. So like points wise, like obviously everyone knows Luka's going to score the ball. And maybe, again, in a world where the Lakers go on this nasty tear and like, I don't know, let's say end up like 3 games even behind that 2 seed or 1 seed, and due to Luka doing his thing, maybe he gets a crazy narrative push at the end of the season here. He'll still be a finalist. He's Luka, right? But that could potentially be a tougher one for him to win. But again, like Brock said, with all these injuries, who knows? Anything.
Do you want to guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the top 9 for the MVP?
Shea.
Yep.
Jokic.
He's at 4. Yep.
Jaylen Brown
at 5.
Jalen Brunson.
He is at 7.
7. Kawhi, is he up there?
6.
Yeah.
By the way,
Wemby probably.
Wemby's at 2.
2. Wow.
So you have, I think you have 1 through. Did you say Luka or no? But
I might have. I'm guessing he's on there.
Yeah. Okay, so you got 1 through 7 right now. You got the bottom 2, which granted 6 through 9, they have the same odds of plus 100,000. So the odds, yeah. So I don't think Kawhi, Jalen Brunson, and then the final 2 will make it. But do you have any guesses on who the last 2 are?
Just because before we started the podcast, I joked about this player. What are the odds? Kevin Durant is one of them.
He is not on the list.
Oh, that would have been peak. Oh, that would have been funny. Ooh.
One of them is like, okay, I can see that. The other one's like, the teams would just, I guess both teams have been kind of disappointing depending on probably their fans' perspective. One's Eastern. What was that?
Donovan Mitchell?
Yep. He's the last one. And then the other one's a Western Conference player.
Western Conference. I don't think he can be eligible at this point, but is it Ant?
It's right now. It's Ant. Again, it doesn't say when this has been updated. This is on FanDuel, just off of a Google search. So if I was you, do not put money on this.
That'd be tough. Let's see. I'm kind of curious now. So because Ant has played 58 games, so he needs to play 7 more to hit that benchmark. And the T-Wolves have played in 73 games. So yeah, it's possible, but yeah, he's already been injured
too.
Yeah, he's been on that injury block. So that could be that's interesting.
I'm curious, all those names that we went through, are any of them like 100% eligible yet, or are they all around that 60?
Yes. So Jaylen Brown has achieved his 65. Okay. He's there. Donovan Mitchell is a game away. Okay. So he just would have to suit up and get out there.
Which, I think in that case, like the fact that Jaylen Brown's eligible, if we get to that point, I don't think Donovan Mitchell's competing for that just because of that situation.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson plays for the Knicks, so he is eligible. Although even though Tibbs isn't there anymore, he is very much eligible. I believe every single other name that was brought up has not yet hit 65 games.
Okay.
That's wild.
I mean, I guess
some of them are close, but
you want to just keep going through this list and kind of guessing where current odds are for awards?
Oh gosh.
I think we don't have to go through all of them. I think this would just be kind of fun. So
okay.
Defensive Player of the Year, Wemby's the heavy favorite.
Yeah,
plus 2,500.
I don't even know.
Can you even guess? I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So five players below him.
Okay.
I'll give you 10 guesses, and if you don't get it, like no worries. I'll just I'm curious what you would guess would be.
I mean, surely they just have Mobley on there to get it.
Nope.
Really? I figured they would just throw him
He's
in
not
there.
even in the top 9.
Oh my gosh. Who else would be heavy favorites?
You
for that
have
one?
3 centers and a guard and a forward.
Ooh, curious the guard. Who's been on a tear defensively this season?
I will say the guard is the lowest one.
Yeah,
in terms of odds.
Dang, honestly, I don't even know. Because I don't even know eligibility wise who would be. Because at this point, like if you're not close, you're not going to be on there.
Yep.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of curious to hear who's next. Even who'd be second.
So the next 2 are after Wemby are centers in the Western Conference.
Yep. Rudy's
at 3.
Rudy's at 3.
Plus 8,000.
Chet. Yeah.
Plus 1,200 is second place currently.
That makes sense.
The other 3 are in the Eastern Conference. One's a forward. One's a forward center, depending on the game
who you talk to.
Actually, it's funny enough. We talked about that guy recently, not necessarily for his defense.
Oh, okay. You said all the next ones were centers except for the forward center, right?
No, forward. It goes forward, center, guard.
Okay.
All from the East.
Who have we talked about? Lou Dort.
No.
Dang it, that would be funny.
You want another hint?
Sure.
I can give you a hint of the teams.
Okay.
Since 2015, all 3 of these teams have made an NBA Finals at least once.
Oh, wow.
2 of them have won an NBA championship.
Okay. Since 2015. Talking about recently, not for his defense. Well, if they've at least appeared once. What about who plays for that team? Oh, the Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes.
Come on.
He's right
man.
underneath. You can get him for right underneath Rudy Gobert for plus 10,000 if you want.
Holy, that's crazy.
All right, the final 2 players. One's a center forward, and then the other one is a guard. These 2 teams have met up multiple times in the Eastern Conference Finals in the last 10 years.
Okay. Well, last thing, surely Mobley's in there then, right? See the forward center? Really? Wow. Okay. That's actually shocking. Is he even in that top 10?
No.
They just didn't even throw him in there just to be like, yeah, what if he wins it? That's fun. Okay.
You can't even place a bet on them on FanDuel.
Unlucky, dude. Unlucky. Let's see.
One of them has recently broke a record, or at least was in a record talk.
Uh-oh. For good or bad reason?
Well, depending on your opinions on how he accomplished it.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Bamba mentality over here, perhaps.
Yep. You can get him for 25,000 plus 25,000. Right below him is the plus 50,000 guy. He's looking to become the second person in this team's history to be a guard that wins Defensive Player of the Year. Or at least second one since 2000, if that helps. I
was gonna guess Dyson, but probably not then. Honestly, he's taking a little bit of a good step too.
There's only been one team to have a Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
at the guard position.
Who would that be? As a guard?
I've talked about how he is one of, if not the best, the greatest shot blockers at a guard position in the NBA right now, if not one of the best all time.
Oh gosh. Derek White?
Yes, Derek White.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then you can only bet they only have 3 players on for Rookie of the Year. But do you want to guess who the favorite is?
Is it Khan now? Is he officially taking it, right?
The Khan is the official leader right now, minus 180. You can get plus 140 for Cooper if you want, and then plus 25,000 for VJ Edgecombe.
Dang.
He got a nod.
Honorary throw in.
I mean, Khan's got to be the rookie of the year, right?
Yeah.
Like we can't go off of stories and who you are necessarily as why you win rookie of the year. Khan, what he's been doing for the Hornets has been unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's been really good. Been really, really good.
And then right now, just looking at the other awards going on, funny enough, my sixth man of the year pick heading into the season, Naz Reid, is not the favorite.
Really? Not anymore?
Jaime Jaquez is second.
Ooh.
And then Spur is first.
Is it Keldon?
Keldon Johnson.
Keldon Johnson, yeah. Shout out Keldon Johnson, man.
Reed Shepard is right underneath Naz Reid, if you were curious.
Dang. Wow.
And then looking at the other ones, it looks like Shea's got clutch player of the year kind of locked up in terms of like odds. JB Bickerstaff and Joe Mazzulla, funny enough, those are the closest for coach of the year. JB's at minus 180 and plus 160 is Joe Mazzulla. I don't know if you saw Mazzulla at Raw on Monday.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
he was trying to take out
smiling for the first time in his entire life.
I've never seen Joe Mazzulla smile so much in his life.
Character.
He broke kayfabe for those wrestling people that know terminology and stuff. That was great. You can bet right now on Finals MVP on FanDuel.
Wow. Don't do that.
No.
Guys, don't do that.
By the way, there are 3 Western Conference players mentioned before the first Eastern Conference players mentioned.
Yikes.
But to give you an idea on things going on right now, it looks like the Celtics are starting to creep up on that odds to take over the Eastern Conference. And I mean, probably like it's really likely to happen with how they've been playing recently. Just last night, I know that they lost on Sunday against the Timberwolves 102-92, but just last night came back, or at least bounced back in terms of the win-loss record, and got a win against the Thunder, who have just been on a tear recently. And, you know, really the biggest highlight that I loved about that game was Jaylen Brown, who's been complaining about fouls and officiating, it seems like all year, was able to foul bait Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and, you know, get an and one. And you could just tell that he soaked in that entire moment as a player. And I mean, rightfully so. Wouldn't you, if you could foul bait SGA?
Oh yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I think what was probably impressive too about that is that the Thunder were I think they were full strength. I don't think there was, obviously their main guys were all playing, but even like depth wise, I think they were pretty much all healthy. So it's a really good win. Yeah. Really good win to pick up.
And I mean, what are your thoughts with the current landscape of the NBA? Like, do you think there is a clear, like heading into this year, I felt like there was a clear number one in terms of who is most likely to make the finals and win the finals, and that was the Thunder. Yeah. I didn't pick them. I was dumb, and I picked the Knicks, if I remember right, to win the championship.
Doable.
Yes. But, like, the Thunder coming in were, like, the heavy favorites on everything. Do you think that has kind of changed quickly? And, like, or do you think, like, if you had to pick Oklahoma City or the Field at this point, would you still pick Oklahoma City?
I think I'm probably leaning Field. And that's just cause, and it's not even because I don't think the Thunder could do it. Like I think anybody who says like, oh yeah, easily, I don't think anybody out there is just like easily counting them out, right? They're still going to do their thing. But just looking at the competition, you know, obviously we've already seen the cinematic masterpiece that is any Thunder or Spur game, and that's your 2 seed right there. As Brock pointed out earlier, potential 1 seed. Right.
They need to meet in the Western Conference Finals. Yeah. I know it'd be great to see like a random team like come out of the Western Conference, like out of nowhere, like the Timberwolves make a run, or heck, one of the play-in teams somehow just turn around and start winning. I mean,
Yeah.
how funny would it be if the Phoenix Suns somehow went on like just a legendary
golly, dude.
like a We Believe
Like
Warriors
don't even
type,
joke
like
that. That'd be something, but yeah. But
But
no, like, yeah, it's interesting. Because I think outside of that in the West, right now the Lakers are sitting at the 3 seed. I cannot lie to any of you out there. I am just not impressed by this team whatsoever.
the Lakers,
I cannot lie.
yeah.
I like Luka. We saw LeBron dive for a loose ball in the first time for like 15 years probably. I like JJ Redick just in general, but like their game, I just don't have fun watching their games. Like I can't lie, I really don't. I don't know what it is. I don't hate them, but I'm not a huge fan of that. But outside of that, obviously the Nuggets, you have Jokic, like they're gonna do their thing, right? They've had the chance before even to knock the Thunder out of the playoffs. I even remember last year, like their series, pretty good series overall. And then Brock, like you pointed out, like the T-Wolves lately have looked really good, and that's even with Ant missing time. Bones Highland is doing some nice stuff over there to keep them afloat, and obviously can't count out Julius Randle leaving.
And Dante.
And so and Big Ragu. Come on. There we go. So overall, past that, Rockets are just a weird team, and I'm just not going to count it.
Can I propose something here? And maybe people will flame me in the comments. Maybe I make Dawson try to make a social media clip for this just to see what kind of comments we'll get. You take out the Thunder and the Spurs. Are the two conferences that much different in terms of competitiveness and the teams that would be in the hypothetical playoffs without the Spurs and the Thunder? Or is it actually way closer? I think you could make an argument that it's a lot closer. And here's my reasoning. I think that people look at the Western Conference, they're like, oh, it's so dominant and so powerful. Is it that, or is it just that they have the names? I don't know if it's more of they are that better of teams, which don't get me wrong, Thunder and Spurs, those would be my favorites right now to win the NBA championship, hands down, with how they've been playing. But like, you look at the Eastern Conference, they got some good teams that could really like make some noise. I'm personally hoping that the Hawks don't play in a play-in situation, because I do not, as a top 2 seed, want to play them in the first round, because I think the Hawks, they don't have a star player, which, I mean, heck, they traded their star player earlier this year, but like they're still a good team. And I feel like that's the NBA, the era of the NBA that we're like going into, is where you may not have the names, but if you're a good team, you can compete any day of the week and at least make a legitimate shot towards a championship. Obviously, having the Giannis's, the LeBrons, the KDs, the Jokic's, the SGAs, all that, Wemby, those, like, that matters in terms of like already you're set up for success, or at least you should have success with the talent that you have in that star or once in a generation player. But like, just because you don't have that doesn't mean that you are like 1000% out of it. Like, again, if you take Oklahoma City, San Antonio out of the conversation, I almost wonder how many people would take the Eastern Conference, any team, or the Western Conference, any team, just because you look at the records, they're fairly similar. I've watched a lot of Eastern Conference versus Western Conference teams, and I know maybe the overall record probably leans more Western Conference, but I think it's a lot closer than people realize when you take Oklahoma City and San Antonio out of it.
Yeah, they're definitely very, very much stronger, like you said, like at the top. But yeah, beyond that, it's kind of, I feel like a lot of times, and maybe this is more of just like, with narrative building and keeping conversations around just like the league going. I feel like a lot of times when you look at some of these Western Conference teams, I mean, I literally just did it with the Rockets. Like, all things considered, the Rockets are still a pretty solid basketball team. They've slipped a bit down since even the last time we think we've even had a podcast. They've slipped quite a bit down. But it's like, it's more of like when you fall into those slots in the West, it's almost more disappointing than anything else. Even though you're literally making the playoffs, you're avoiding the play-in, right? And then a lot of times when you look in the East right now, you see the 5 and 6 seeds. It's the Hawks, which Brock just pointed out, just traded their superstar cornerstone player of the last few years, and the Toronto Raptors, who nobody had as in a spot to escape the play-in right now. At least I did not. Maybe some of you out there did. But I was very much not a believer in this Toronto Raptors team. And so I think some of it is more of just like discourse and stuff like that being created. But I mean, that could be something to consider because I mean, you look at the top, at least, especially top three seeds between the Pistons, Celtics, and Knicks. If you were to compare
Lakers,
that,
Nuggets, and Timberwolves, I think it'd be closer than people think.
It'd be pretty close. So, yeah, I was even while you're talking, Brock, I was waiting to share this with you at least, something I was working on. I've been trying to make a graph about kind of like statistical consistencies in like the NBA finals over the past. This first graph I had went the past 40 years in the NBA finals, and one of the
work.
Yeah, it was fun. But one of the interesting things in particular within like the last like 6 years is specifically with offensive and defensive ratings. It's always kind of been, for the most part, there's always going to be some outliers. Maybe another time we'll go over some of those. But you kind of have to be like a top 10 team, either in offense or defense, to make the finals, like across the board. Not even just win the finals, make the finals.
And are you talking like efficiency or like
net rating, just in
net
general?
rating?
So
okay.
Yep. And but yeah, and so that the past 40 years, you basically, in order just to make it, have to fall somewhere in there. But in the last 6 years, like I just said, not whoever has won the finals, but made the finals. So the loser, second best team in the NBA. 4 out of those were not top 10 in offensive or defensive or even net rating. Only 2 of them, only the 2021 Suns and the next year the Celtics were top 10 in something within that, which is kind of wild. And so, like you said, like as long as you get a chance just to be there, just to make it, like make a push, whether it's at the end of the season, being a play-in team obviously presents a tough path, but it doesn't necessarily count you out 100%. Especially when you look at the East, I think, especially this year, that's very much the case. In the West, we'll see. Kind of like Brock said, we'll see, because not looking terrific over there.
I wonder if you did a playoff of just the play-in teams for both conferences, what the results would look like. 7-game series, just final Elite Eight kind of. Because like you got Philly, Miami, Charlotte, Orlando versus Phoenix, LA, the Clippers specifically, Portland, and Golden State. All of them are kind of struggling, but like I almost side with the East in terms of ones I would probably go with, because the Warriors just keep getting injured. Who knows when Curry is going to be 100% again this year. Portland's one of the weirder teams in terms of success this year, and I'm not sure if that's going to be like a long-term thing for them or if this is like lightning in a bottle season for them. Maybe they'll win a play-in game or something. Clippers, who knows? I'm done with ever predicting anything with the Clippers, because you say one thing, they do the other. You say zig, they zag.
Yep.
And then you got the Suns, because we all knew that the Suns would be competing for a playoff position this year. But then you got, the Eastern Conference, where the Philadelphia 76ers every other year, it seems like for the last 6 years, it's like, oh, can they compete for a championship in the Eastern Conference? And they're kind of just sitting there. Miami's Miami. Charlotte, their young core, I mean, it seems like they're building something. Who knows, like, if they really can take that next step as a small market. And then Orlando is like the most disappointed I've ever been in a team this season. They're sitting at the 10 seed right now. They would be the road opponent for both games, assuming that they would even win to make the playoffs. Like, who would have imagined that?
Rough. Rough season for them. Cannot lie. Not looking great.
It's definitely rough. But again, so like when people bring up this narrative of like the Western Conference overpowering the East, I think it's a lot closer than people think. I mean, heck, the bottom half of the East versus the bottom half of the West, all the teams that are not in the playoffs right now, if it started today, are all eliminated. I think there's 2 teams left in the Eastern Conference. Granted, no offense, Hunter, I don't think your Bucks are going to be going on a 15 whatever game. They have to win out, and then
I sure hope not. I sure hope we don't.
It's going to take a lot, and so we'll see. I still would take Oklahoma City or San Antonio to probably win it right now, but I think the competitiveness between the rest of the league in terms of conference versus conference is a lot closer than people think. I was going to talk a little bit about the leaks of the Minnesota Timberwolves logo, but I don't think that really fits with what we've been kind of hitting on this episode. But let's talk a little bit before we wrap up here on just some of the performances from top prospects heading into the 1 second. Let me hit the sound. The NBA draft.
Yeah.
A lot of great performances. Some of them I feel like solidified certain players' positions on draft boards for at least fans. I don't know about teams because, different teams have different expectations, different needs and all that. That's the one thing about the draft that is so fun is when there is a battle for the first 3 picks, and they're all 3 different positions, different types of players and all that, because it's not as like 1000% going to be this one person, because the Bucks might need something different than the Pacers, and the Pacers probably need something different than the Pelicans, and the Pelicans might need something different than the Mavericks, whatever it may be. So whoever gets the top 3 picks, like, you can randomize that order and you'll probably get a different result of the first 3 picks, depending on which teams are selecting at what point. Because, we've seen trades in the top 3 too. So who knows if the teams that win the lottery in the top 3 end up with those picks on draft night anyways. But were there any performances that you specifically wanted to hit on? I know we could probably touch on the top 3 prospects and where they rank after this performance. Just so everybody knows, heading into the tournament, I think it was ESPN's draft board. They had Darren Peterson at number 1, AJ DeBonsa. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? I'm going to pronounce it 50 different times before he gets drafted. Yeah. It's my Giannis Antetokounmpo. Staying for some reason, and then Cameron Boozer was at number 3. Those were the top 3 heading into this tournament. Just outside at number 5, I don't know who number 4 was, because for some reason the article didn't want to add the number 4 player. Kingston Flemings was at number 5, who I actually think has jumped up, at least in terms of consideration for certain teams with his performances.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on some of the prospects? Any of them stand out to you? Any of them that like no one has been talking about that maybe has jumped higher? Or do you think it's almost solidified to who the top prospects are this year?
Yeah, I think for me personally, the biggest conversation really has been about, like, if you had the number 1 pick, are you taking DeBonsa or are you taking Peterson, right? And me personally, if I were tasked with that and only had March Madness to go off of, right? Like, you get to look at the last games they could possibly play and see how far they could go. I feel like I'm leaning towards DeBonsa personally. Fact that dude dropped 35 points and his team still lost. It's like, oh, well, all right then. Like, what more can you do, bud? Like, that's tough. And that's not even saying Darren Peterson did terrible by any means. Rock and I were talking before, and his performance against St. John's was a little iffy. But, like, again, you take the entire rest of the season, and even just, like, question marks about whether it's, motivation, desire to play, et cetera, et cetera. It's like when he's on the floor and he's playing, like, he literally looks like he is deciding everything that's happening. Like, it's just natural, it seems like, for him to put ball in basket very easily. Outside of that, I think the hottest name right now in the NCAA has been Darius Acuff Jr. Dude has just been going on a tear, getting all these comparisons, whether it's to Anthony Edwards or Allen Iverson, all over the place. Which told our horses here, we got to get somewhere first. But he does look really, really good, and obviously being a Calipari guard, like what's not to love about that, right?
I was about to say, wasn't this the guy that Calipari earlier in the year was like, why isn't he being considered for National Player of the Year for the?
I think so. Yeah,
I think we almost
called him like the most talented guy he's coached. I don't know about ever. I don't remember what the words he was saying, but he had some extremely high praise considering the people he's coached.
But like, oh my gosh, dude, you look at just his March numbers. So March, he has played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's played 6 games in March. March 4th, 28 points, 13 assists against Texas. W by 20 points. 3-point win on March 13th against Oklahoma. 37 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. Ole Miss in overtime, 3-point win. 24 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 steal. Vanderbilt, W. And he scored, 30 points, 11 assists, and 3 rebounds. And then you got, the postseason, 24 points, 36 points. The 36 points against High Point. It's just unbelievable that he's been able to do that. He's been doing this at a consistent basis, has scored almost 50 points once this season. He's someone that has definitely shot up on, I think is shooting up on a lot of people's draft boards. But it only benefits him the longer Arkansas goes, because I don't think Arkansas is going anywhere if he doesn't perform.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been pretty fun to watch. What are your thoughts? Because I'm not gonna lie, I was not necessarily impressed by his performances, and I know that they're playing tonight as we're recording here, so maybe he will do something tonight that completely changes it. But in his 2 games, I have not been completely like blown away, and I know that he's projected to be, I think, around the 20s anyways, but Bennett Sturts has like not been as impressive as like maybe originally thought by NBA prospects. The thing is, though, is I will give him the like little buffer of like, he is Iowa. They don't make the tournament without him. Like, I know Ben McCollum, and I said this last night on the Between the Hashes podcast, he's probably one of my top 2, top 3 coaches for sure right now in college basketball, just because of how like crafty he is with game plans, slowing the game down, and how his team reacts to that. But also, like, Bennett just looks tired, and he looks like he's just not, like, he's not performing as well as I think expectations have him set out to be.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty fair, just overall. It's tough. You got to play through the entirety of March, though, if you want to win. So go Big Red. But yeah.
Well, speaking of them, I haven't seen anything, but is Price Samford moving up on draft boards? Do you think he's probably going to be back next year, right?
I would guess so. He's been, I think for last I've looked, at least, he's kind of always been kind of in that either like late second round / undrafted.
Yeah. So he's around that Momcilovic range.
Yeah. And I think that's always the tough part a lot of times, I think, with kind of these juniors in general, is it's kind of like, well, like you might as well just come back for your last season at this point, unless you have like some crazy junior season where it's like you'd be dumb not to. I don't really see much of a point in not doing that. Because I think, obviously I'll do my best and put my homer bias aside. If Iowa State goes on a crazy run and Milan keeps shooting the ball like he has for the entire season, I see there being no reason why an NBA team would not want a 6'8" sniper on their team. Like there's no point to not want that.
And the only drawback that people may have with him is his speed and his movement on defense. But like, watch some of the games. Yes, he's not consistent in terms of his like ability on the defensive side of the ball, but there are moments where like he literally stops the possession or like is able to hold his own and force a bad shot, whatever it may be. He's improved a lot on the defensive side. The speed is always going to be an issue, but he's mentioned that. That's why he perfected his shot, because he knew he wasn't going to be the fastest guy on the court.
Yeah. And then fully inputting Homer Bias again. I think I could see, undersized guards are always kind of a hit or miss here. But man, like, I love me some Taman Lipsy hoops. Just like I just love Taman just in general. But especially with Jefferson being out, like he's really stepped up. And so I mean, heck, you even look at what was it a couple years ago now with Jamal Shed. You know, he was a phenomenal player at Houston, and was there. I believe he was there till his senior season. And I mean, he's on the Raptors now, and he's not, the guy in Toronto by any means, but he puts in some considerable minutes, and you see just the way he's able to disrupt guys on the floor. Again, Taman Lipsy, the dude does not turn the ball over and just will do anything and everything. He's like a little bowling ball out there. It's awesome. But yeah, I am a little worried though, because then you have obviously Joshua Jefferson, who phenomenal basketball player.
Probably will get drafted.
Yeah, he's been kind of the if you were to look at the Iowa State potential draftees, has always been kind of the top guy since the beginning of the season. I am a little worried with him being injured now and just missing out on those games. It probably is going to impact his stock. Sure. Now, all things considered, he comes back. Iowa State continues to do their thing. Very well, will probably just jump right back to where he was, if not higher. And obviously, even look at like last year, he had Walter Clayton Jr. Did his amazing thing with Florida. But really, because he was a senior, just like was not really considered to be a hot commodity by any means. And then, hey, Utah ended up taking him a little bit earlier than was initially projected. And, he's still in Utah, I guess. Utah is still Utah, but he's honestly looked halfway decent. And so I'll be interested to see where the clones end up for the draft. But outside of that, I don't think there's anything that I can think of that's been like a huge kind of like boom or anything within draft stock, or even any bust situations or anything like that. Honestly, I think what I'm most interested in with the Sweet 16 is specifically between Keaton Wagler, I think, and then Kingston Flemings. They're going to be facing off against each other. And those are two guys, especially, that just like have looked phenomenal all year. Have kind of, as far as I remember, have only like had their draft stock rise as the season's gone on, and right now are both projected top 10 picks.
And Kingston Flemings has been unbelievable for Houston.
Man, he's so good. He's so good. But I am excited to watch that, especially. So if you're someone out there who, I feel like at this point, like if you just like basketball, you'll watch college basketball, unless your name's De'Aaron Fox, in which case keep your absolutely trash opinion to yourself.
Wait, what did he? Did I miss?
He's
something?
Not a fan of college basketball. He can't. He's basically talked about how he can't do it anymore because the officiating's bad. It's not as polished within the game. Stuff like that.
Buddy, do you not watch your own product?
Honestly. But anyway. But if you haven't really, if you're someone who really only likes NBA basketball, really, this would be like one of the games to watch, to just see two high draft picks, two freshmen just go up against each other, because I think it'll be really, really fun to watch.
I know he's not going to be 100% either way, but I'm trying to think of his first name. I'm trying to search it up here. Well, Joshua Jefferson is who I'm talking about first, but the worst thing about this is we could have had an unbelievable matchup between him and Nate Ahmet with Tennessee. And unfortunately, even if Jefferson does play, he's not going to be 100%. So it's not going to be as good as a matchup as we may want. But hopefully something Yeah, hopefully the Clones can get 2 more wins.
Yeah.
I may or may not have like passed on Sweet 16 tickets with someone because I told him, how about we just wait and like go to Indianapolis? And so I would like to go to Indianapolis. Would be my
Come on.
I think my second time going through Indianapolis. It would be my first time actually like being in
Being there.
Indianapolis for
Mhm.
a reason, not just driving through. I mean,
Yep.
did you go to Morgantown with us or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I went to Lubbock, unfortunately. I will never,
Well,
ever
honestly,
return to
all
Lubbock.
3 of those games sucked,
Yeah.
and they were
Yeah,
all
you
one-possession
guys learned your
losses.
lesson to no longer go to away games for
Was
that
I
year. It was bad.
Okay, now I need to look because I need to remember if was Lubbock before Oklahoma or was Oklahoma before
I
Lubbock?
think
Because if
Oklahoma was before.
that
I'm
was
like,
the 2021 football season.
yeah, I'm like 70% sure about that. But
Because
yeah,
if that Texas Tech one was the last one, that was literally like that was the cherry on top of like all the ways that you could have lost.
yeah, for those of you out
Actually,
there,
the Oklahoma
we
game was after.
it
It was
was
the week
after.
after.
Okay.
So we went down to Lubbock, and then we had
Oh,
to turn
it was a
around
week after.
and go down to Norman.
Holy. Yeah, for those of you out there, there was a year, you said it was 2021, right?
Yep.
Where a few of us Iowa State fans from good old high school went to some away Iowa State football games, and man, they were all like maybe the worst games ever. Like just the most. I went to one of them. I went to Lubbock, Texas.
You went to the worst one.
I
You
went
went to
on
the
a
worst
like
one.
12 to 13-hour drive just to watch my team lose because of like an NCAA record field goal.
We saw the student section get thrown out, and then
Yeah.
they immediately ran back onto the field after the game. So
Got
the
stared down by a 6th grader after the game. I never
yeah.
felt more emasculated in my life than to get stared down by a 13-year-old kid. And there was nothing I could do about it because one, he's 13 years old. I'm not going to just talk back at him. And two, because we just lost in the worst fashion possible.
I love it. Yeah, the 3 games we went to, because I ended up going to all 3. By the way, this was all within a span of the first game was on October 30th, and the last one was on November 20th. So it was less than a month. We went to 3 road games. Morgantown, West Virginia. Final score was 38-31. By the way, there was a BS call in the back of the end zone that they called a touchdown. So that was the first gut punch, or low blow, if you may. Then a couple weeks later, we went to Lubbock, Texas. 41-38 was the final score of that one. Game-winning field goal, which I will never forget. One of our defensive players went back to the end zone just in case if they missed it, because it was tied. It was going to go to overtime if he missed it. And just watching him just look up to watch the ball go over him. That was great. And I don't know about you, but I 1000% knew that was going in after that got kicked. Like there wasn't a like maybe he missed it. No, he kicked it, and I was like,
because it was make that. He could have backed up like 5 more yards and made it.
It was coming towards us, for those that don't know. So we knew right away. It wasn't like we were on the other side and we're like, oh, it looks like it would be good, but maybe it's not long enough. And then, the very next week was at Oklahoma, where we lost 28-21. By the way, Brock Purdy got knocked out, and we had to rely on Hunter Deckers until the final possession, where they put, or like the final couple possessions where Brock Purdy's brought us back in, or they put Brock back in, and Kohler, I think, was wide open if he would have thrown it over the linebacker that was sitting right there. And it was oh great, this is just the cherry on top of everything else that had went down that game. But on the bright side, though, the following week we destroyed TCU, and Brock Purdy and Breece Hall's final game at Jack Trice.
Come on.
Purdy had 262 yards. Breece Hall 242 rushing yards.
True. Come on.
But yeah, no, that was the 3 of the 4-week span that we went on. The one home game was versus Texas, where we just destroyed them. If I remember right, we were chanting SEC the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah,
that was great.
It was awesome. It was great.
But yeah, I don't even remember how we got there to this discussion about Iowa State football, but here we are. We'll wrap up this show here. I guess it is right at about an hour, so we ended up going just as long as we normally do. So we'll sign off. Hunter, go cheer loud for the Huskers. Of course, the show will be out the day after, so depending on that.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Fred.
Come on.
That is the only one. I will not say the original. I will only say Go Big Fred. Or Hoyball. That's the other one. We love Hoyball. But yeah, everybody enjoy the games this weekend. If you get a chance, tune into some UFL football. Watch the Battlehawks at noon on Saturday. Hakeem Butler, baby. Best receiver in the league. Best receiver in league history. If you really look at the 2-year stats of the league. But for Hunter Rose, I'm Brock Bierman. If you haven't listened to the Between the Hashes podcast, it was released a couple days ago, or actually yesterday. We did a full first-round mock draft, if you guys want to look at that, to prepare for the NFL draft. But for Hunter Rose, I'm Brock Bierman. Thank you for the support, and we will see you all next week.